Hello and welcome to the Claret Blue podcast, sponsored by NordVPN. All the information you need for Nord is in the description down below, including a tasty discount code. Today we're going to do Premier League predictions, John, 20th to first place. We're going to try and predict the whole league table, which for Villa fans, obviously, we are 1/20th of that. But we thought it'd be good fun to have a good guess at the rest of the table. Again, one that we can do now in August and look back on in May or June and see who got the closest. We did our big season preview yesterday, so if you've not gone and watched that yet or listened to it, please do. We're really happy with it. We're really proud of it. Matt and Frankie gave their top 6 and bottom 3, but John and I resisted the urge to get involved in that conversation because of this video. So the way we're going to do this, John, is we're going to do it in sections. So like bottom 3, then the middling clubs, then the top 4, top 6 in kind of segments. Yeah. We'll write them down on the whiteboard and we'll reveal them to each other and react and see where we go. Yep. So first of all, we're going to do the Premier League bottom 3. This is in absolute order, 20th to 19th to 18th. I'm going to show you mine first. I'll reveal it to the camera as well, which will be a struggle to see, no doubt. And I'll read them out. Brentford 18th, 19th Leicester, and 20th Southampton. I think you've picked the obvious three as a guess.
There's one difference to yours. So shall I show you mine?
Is it Ipswich?
It is Ipswich.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's see it.
So mine's exactly the same order as well. Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich. I just feel like it's easy to say there's a gulf in the Premier League, but I really am struggling to find those teams. My only thing with Brentford, and I understand why you put them there, but Thomas Franks thinks an exceptional coach. We saw it at Villa Park when Villa were 2-0 up. Yeah. And all of a sudden the game changed just like that because Frank identified one weakness in the Villa team and everything then came down that left side 3 crosses later and we're losing the match in the space of like 10 or 15 minutes. Like that's how good of a coach Frank is and how actually good their players are. I feel Wissa and Mbeumo I think are really good players, so even if Tony does leave or stays but doesn't play particularly well, I feel like they've got enough. And they also had a lot of injuries last season as well, which I know a lot of teams did, but teams like Brentford are going to feel that more than even we did. Yeah. So, I'm comfortable that Brentford should be okay, but I understand why you've put them down.
I think the bottom 2, Southampton, Leicester, feel like the obvious bottom 2 to me, but I think the 3 you've got, they are the worst sides on paper. They've got the worst squads, the worst quality to choose from. But I think when we come on to the rest of these, the teams in 17th to probably 15th, I think will all be involved. And it could just be that maybe Ipswich and Brentford, in our cases, Brentford might finish ever so close to surviving, but just be the ones to drop, or that could be Everton or Forest. Yeah. I think the Leicester and Southampton feel nailed on. I think the third one could be one of 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah, I personally only feel like Forest are the only one down there that could be dragged into that relegation fight with the bottom 3 or the promoted 3. Sorry, I like what Ipswich obviously. I mean, I say I think it's extraordinary what McKenna's done, but I need to see them do that in the Premier League, and I don't know if they can. The only thing that's going for them, or one of the things that goes for them, that doesn't go for Southampton, is that Russell Martin, for example, is very sure that he's going to play one-way football. That is plan A, plan B, and plan Z. But for Ipswich, they can mix it up a little bit. They don't play as open and expansive. They're not kind of stuck in their ways, and that can be a positive thing for Southampton, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like for the quality of their players, translating that to the Premier League is really difficult.
For those that are watching this on YouTube as well, there will be some graphics on screen of the club badges, how this is going to be, John. If you look behind you, the teams that you've picked from 20th to 1st will all be behind you there, and they'll be on this side for me. So if you're watching this and want to see where your team pops up, if you fast forward, your badge will appear up here somewhere.
Unless you're a fan of Ipswich,
unless you're one of these,
Brentford.
If you're one of these, you're already on screen down here somewhere. The next batch that we're going to go through is 17th to 13th. Yeah. So this is a kind of a middling section of the Premier League where teams are still probably in danger at the bottom end of it, but probably just about going towards mid-table obscurity at the higher end at 13th. So I think this section here was probably the most difficult section to predict, because I feel like anybody from probably 12th down could pretty much finish in any order. I will go first again. Camera first. We've got 17th Ipswich, 16th Wolves, 15th Forest, 14th Everton, and 13th Brighton.
That's interesting, actually.
Why?
Let me see how many teams I've got that you don't in that list. So I have 1, 2, 3 teams that you don't have.
You've got 3 teams
in there
that I don't even have yet. Interesting. Okay.
That is interesting.
Show me yours then.
So I have Forest 17, as I said, just
I could see Forest
the
finishing
only
17th easily.
the only other team I think that'll be in a fight.
Yeah.
Brentford just above, Everton 15th above them. Then I've got Fulham 14, which I think is maybe a bit low. Bournemouth 13.
Well, obviously, I feel like Bournemouth and Fulham will have much better seasons than what you've given them there. I say much better.
Yeah.
Within reason.
I think Fulham is probably the big talking point there, because I think they've definitely recruited well so far, I believe. And I think Muniz is a fantastic striker. He could easily get 15. I say easily. He could get 15 this season. But they've lost Palhinha, which I think is obviously a big blow. How will they cope without him? They're going to sign some centre-backs, but again...
Diego Carlos?
Possibly, yeah. Which I think will actually be a very good signing for them. You know, he is a centre-back at the end of the day that played the majority of Villa's games, that finished, and a club that finished 4th in the league. So I think it would be a good signing for them. But that's going to be a new centre-back partnership because they lost Adebayo. So I think there's quite a lot of change there. Definitely could finish higher than 14th, but I think the teams above them, I just feel have got a bit more. But
Okay, all right. Well, let's move on to the next batch then, because obviously, we're now getting into the territory where we're picking different sides in different segments. So, this pen's rubbish.
Oh, naughty.
For the camera first, this is 12th to 8th. Yep. I have 12th Palace, 11th Bournemouth, 10th Fulham, 9th West Ham, and 8th Chelsea. Not sure about Chelsea. Obviously, in the pre-season, Frankie and Matt both had Chelsea in the top 4, and I instantly thought, I'm really not sure about that. They could be one or two ways, though. They could really click into gear. Yep. Maresca could be a great coach. They've signed a lot of talent, and maybe they just unlock the right ones to have a great season and finish, I don't know, in the top 6 and the top 5, and maybe get into the Champions League through the back door. But I also think 8th could be kind of the best of their abilities, and Maresca is sacked in January and someone else guides them to 8th, and that'd be a crap season, really, given what they've spent. I find them really difficult to read, Chelsea. Do you want to show me yours before we speak about the rest?
Do you want me to make you feel better?
Go on then.
Got Chelsea.
Chelsea the same? Okay.
Yeah. So I have 12 Brighton, Wolves 11.
Wow, okay.
Again, similar to Chelsea in a way that it could go one or two ways, but
16th
I think a lot of what Wolves did last season was very good, and again, injuries, but when they came to Villa Park, they had no striker, and they were playing a kid, Sarabia, and another kid, I think, and then Cunha was on the bench injured. Like that, we won the game 2-0, we deserved to win, but it was, it wasn't much of a match. I think Wolves are good. They did lose Kilman, but I think they'll be okay, and I like O'Neill. Palace, I have 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, I've possibly underrated Palace a little bit, but 12 is still decent.
Possibly losing Gay, possibly losing Anderson. I think they won't lose both, but then they've lost the league, so don't know.
If they were to lose both, I think I'd have them much lower down.
But they do have Claret back, so they'll be okay, Palace, in a good position. West Ham 9, and then Chelsea 8. West Ham are a bit of a talking point at the moment, because obviously they've, I think, done some very good business, but that doesn't always mean that they're going to suddenly...
No, I think a lot of people have got that West Ham as being the dark horse for maybe upsetting European football.
So the amount of people are saying it's almost not a dark horse anymore. Yeah. It's almost to the point where they're almost, they can't be underrated now because everyone is rating them. There's a lot of traffic in the top half of the table, so they're going to have to really have a good season to finish above some of those teams. Brighton, I think, have got some really good players still. I don't know anything about the manager, I must say, but they've proven me wrong a lot of times before. So, Bournemouth losing to Solanke is the reason why I've them 13.
Yeah, I've got 11th, but again, the difference between 13th and 11th might be a couple of points.
Very good team, Bournemouth.
They had a great season, back in the last season. I'm thinking they might continue that. Fulham, I've gone 10th, is again more of my outsiders for somebody who's probably going to have a better season than some might expect.
Yeah.
And we've got West Ham and Chelsea the same for obvious reasons. So the next segment is 7th, 6th, and 5th. So the Conference League and Europa League places, and possibly Champions League if the coefficient goes the 5th place club's way.
Let's hope it does.
Which in my case is Aston Villa 5th, Newcastle 6th, and Man United 7th.
Okay. we know that we both have Villa 5th because it was in the prediction. I have Tottenham 6, United 7. Okay. So the only difference there being
Tottenham and Newcastle. I would guess then that we've put Tottenham and Newcastle in
reverse order.
The reverse order, I would guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Man United 7th, is that the best of their abilities, do you think?
I don't know. I mean,
that's such an unknown.
I was thinking they're going to swap with Chelsea, but then I don't know, it's difficult to say because you're thinking, can they be this bad for so long? But
I know, yeah.
You kind of think, well, yeah, they probably can, based on what they were doing last season. I don't think Ten Hag will see out the season. I think Van Nistelrooy will be in at some point. His PSV team were excellent to watch, but that's the Eredivisie. I don't know. The way I see it, I kind of planned this around where do I think Villa will finish more than anything else. And because I put them 5th, I can't see United getting 4th.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think they're finishing with Tottenham. So, yeah. 7th was the
it's kind
position.
of, yeah, I almost felt like I was putting Man United and Chelsea in last, like almost by default, like what's left for them.
Okay, yeah.
Not actually last, but you know what I mean? I felt like, there's no way they'll finish above these.
Yep.
So they kind of have to fall where they do.
That little table, yeah.
Yeah. Newcastle 6th for me, just outside of a Champions League place, but will certainly mount a challenge for that with no other European football to contend with. Final segment then is the top 4. I would have loved to have put Villa in this, to be honest, but I just can't quite see it. In the top 4, I have Liverpool 4th, Spurs 3rd, Arsenal 2nd, and Man City champions for the 5th season in a row. Most boring thing ever. I found this really difficult to predict. Part of me wonders whether Man City Arsenal can be the top 2 again for the 3rd season in a row. I think they are the 2 best teams. I just wonder whether Arsenal can fall short again in a way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Liverpool 4th is one that I'm really not sure about, just because that's, again, so unpredictable. They could actually be really good, or they could have a season where they struggle for Liverpool's terms and finish 7th maybe, and that opens up a place for Villa or Newcastle. Spurs, I don't know why I put them 3rd really. I could quite easily have put them 6th.
To be fair,
but I just...
If Van der Ven stays fit for the season,
I feel like they were so... I know everyone had injuries. Newcastle were ravaged, so were we. But Spurs had some injuries at a bad time. Udogie is a great player. Van der Ven's a great player. If Solanke fits at Spurs, he could score 20 goals and be a talisman for them and fire them up the league table from 5th to 3rd. Like, when I was writing Spurs 3rd, I thought, can they do that? And I thought, they just finished 5th. Like, to go from 5th to 3rd is not exactly a huge jump.
On paper, you can definitely sell it as Spurs can finish 3rd. But it just felt like something was going a bit wrong with Ange or the way he was playing at the back end of last season. There was a lot of, I don't know, it seemed quite toxic at some point.
There's a bit of doubt there.
Like, the Arsenal game was really, it's hilarious from the outside.
Yeah.
And for Villa fans.
I think there's a lot of teams, probably apart from Man City and Arsenal and the ones at the very bottom, I think in that cluster of 17th to 12th, they could pretty much finish anywhere. And then probably from 3rd to maybe 7th, I think they could finish in any order. Like Newcastle could finish 3rd, but they could finish 7th. And then not really be much eyebrow raising over either of those things happening.
It all feels very open. I meant the Man City game, by the way, not the Arsenal game, when they had the chance of giving Arsenal the league, but didn't. I have Newcastle 4th because
let's see it.
I thought they've got a really, really good squad. Kind of similar to Villa's in a way of quality, but they don't have European football. They have St James's Park. Isak for me he's Will Watkins is the second bit. It's kind of a flip of a coin really between him and Isak at the moment. Watkins second best striker in the league. Barnes, Gordon's come on leaps and bounds. They've got Joelinton,
Tonali's back.
Bruno G, Tonali's back. The centre backs, if they get Gay, great buy. Pope could be back. They've got Lewis Hall, who's doing well. Livramento is a fantastic right back.
That's a really good first.
They have Fabian Schär, Botman. There's a lot there. I just think if they don't get the injuries that they suffered, then I can't see why they can't finish 4th. Going there is going to be horrible again. St James, they've done it before under Eddie Howe. They seem to score a lot of goals under him. I think there's a lot going for them. The Tottenham one is interesting though. On paper, you do feel like they probably could, but don't know. We'll see. And Man City and Arsenal.
So have you got 3rd then? Liverpool?
Oh yeah. I got Liverpool 3rd.
Really not sure.
I have no idea, mate. I've absolutely my issue with putting Liverpool 3rd or not was just I don't want to put Newcastle 3rd. I don't want to put Villa 3rd. Chelsea, United, Tottenham. I didn't want to put any of them 3rd, so I just went with Liverpool because it's safe, really, which is a bit of a cowardly move. But they've still got the brilliant players. Those players were in a title race up until the last few weeks of the season. I don't know, Klopp's gone and stuff, but we'll see. I just who's going to finish 3rd if not Liverpool?
Okay, yeah, they're so...
You are right, it's nice that this is quite open, because whenever we talk about Villa, it's always, at the moment anyway, we don't know who's going to be support actor Watkins, are we going to sell Carlos, and we're going to defend... At the time of the recording, we don't know those things, but a lot kind of seems a bit up in the air. But with other teams, Liverpool haven't signed a player, they've got a new manager. Tottenham is Tottenham. Newcastle seems pretty stable, in my opinion, that's why I put them 4th. Chelsea it's never stable. United as well is always in flux. So,
do you see any of those kind of outsiders breaking the top 7, the traditional, like a Fulham, a Bournemouth, a West Ham, like actually get in? I know we haven't predicted it, but
West Ham could.
Yeah.
I think that's dependent on if Fulkrug can get the goals that I think he can, but doing it is another thing. I think they could. The other ones I don't think so, just because there's a lot of quality. You know, we're talking Fulham finishing above Newcastle or Villa.
It would take the teams in there to have a really bad season.
Yeah, and for those teams to have a really good season. So yeah, I think they'll be in and around the kind of the middle pack, kind of trying to punch into it. But come the end of the season, I think only West Ham I think could really put up a fight.
For those that are listening, John, can you just run me through your Premier League table from bottom to top, please?
Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, Forest, Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Brighton, Wolves, Crystal Palace in 10th. Then top 9, West Ham, Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham 6th, Villa 5th, Newcastle 4, Liverpool 3, Arsenal 2, City 1.
And mine is Southampton bottom, Leicester, Brentford making up the bottom 3, Ipswich, Wolves and Forest 17th, 16th and 15th, Everton 14th, Brighton 13th, Palace 12th, Bournemouth 11th, Fulham top 10, West Ham 9, Chelsea 8, Man United 7, Newcastle 6th, Villa 5th, Liverpool 4th, Spurs 3rd. Yeah.
It's difficult.
2nd Arsenal, Man City again, 5th.
I feel like whoever you put in 3rd, I think everyone would just be like, really?
Yeah.
Because for Liverpool, we don't know. If you put Chelsea in there, then, you know, Tottenham.
Maybe we're underestimating Man United and Chelsea. Maybe they finally get their act together this year and do finish top 6. Like, neither of us have got them in the top 6.
But to finish 3rd, top 6, you know, there's a potential they could do it for sure. But to finish 3rd is, you know.
Yeah, some ask.
I wonder if Arsenal and Man City will kind of run away as a top 2. And then which, you know, will be a benefit to Villa because then there's technically 2, maybe 3 places. You know, it could be 5, 4 and 3rd, all up for grabs if.
I think that's how it would go. I think there'll be quite a gap between 3rd and 2nd, and 1st and 2nd being close. 3rd being quite a way away from those 2, and then 3rd to 6th probably being quite close points wise. That's our Premier League predictions then, 20th to 1st. A bit of fun, something different for the Claret and Blue podcast. As we said at the very top of the show, Villa are only 1/20th of that conversation, but I think it's good to get our predictions down just for the sake of it's a bit of fun. If you would like to take part as well and look back on your own predictions at the end of the season, then I will leave a template in the comments down below, 1 to 20. You can fill yours in as well. It's actually probably more difficult than you think just to go, let's just do it. You kind of have to put some actual thought into it. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one.